Why did you leave your last job? Feels like a trick question? Because it is. It's way more than what it seems at the surface. In fact, there are three key reasons why employers ask this in an interview, and only one of them is because they want to understand the circumstances that made you leave. In this video, I'll explain why an employer asks this question and share strategies for answering depending on if you left voluntarily, if you were let go for reasons outside your control, or if you were fired. I'll give some example reasons you can share in an interview as to why you left your job too. Be sure to stick around for some important information on how long your response should be because it's actually quite impactful. All right, let's hop into the three reasons why employers ask this question. Context setting. This is obvious. They want to know why you left because they are trying to understand what brought you to this opportunity in the first place. To answer this concern, speak succinctly about what happened. Professionalism test. Can you speak positively and diplomatically about your former employer while still getting your point across? Hint, if you can't, that's an area of concern to your interviewer. So to pass this test, be sure to frame your experience as positively as possible and refrain from airing out old grievances. If you keep watching, I'll explain what to do if you don't feel you can speak positively about your past employer while remaining honest. Commitment evaluation. Is the reason why you left something that could make you leave the new company? Hiring is a lengthy, resource-heavy process for employers. They want to make sure that you will be a long-term investment. So to score some points here and alleviate possible concerns, be sure to explain how you see this job as getting you where you want to go in your career. And if you can, be explicit about seeing this job as long-term investment too. So, now that we know why employers address this question, let's explain how to answer it depending on how your relationship ended with your former employer. But first, if you've watched this far, please give us a like, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. Situation 1. You left voluntarily. If you left voluntarily and on good terms with your employer, great. Explain that it was a wonderful opportunity and that you enjoyed XYZ things about working there, but that you chose to leave because you were seeking a job that offered you something different. Then, show your commitment to the new position by explaining how this opportunity is that something different and you are excited to build the next step in your career off of it. Now, if you left voluntarily but don't have glowing things to say about your former employer, that is perfectly okay too. In this case, rather than explaining why it was a great environment, focus on sharing what you learned. What skills did it require you to develop or refine? Did you get training in a particular area that could be valuable to the new job? If you are still coming up blank and don't feel that you can honestly say something positive about the employer, simply state that you were grateful to have had the opportunity. Even not 100% true, this will help you pass the professionalism test while not making up details about why you loved your last job. And then immediately pivot to what you were looking for from a new opportunity when you decided to leave. Regardless of whether you had a great experience with your former employer or bad one, it can be hard to sum up why you chose to leave a company. Here's some baseline reasons for departure that are totally appropriate to share in an interview. Seeking opportunities for leadership or responsibility, seeking a more dynamic, collaborative, creative environment, seeking to engage in a different business area, seeking to hone X skill, seeking to work in a company that's in a different stage of development, seeking work in a different physical location or work schedule. Although you may have had 50 reasons for leaving your last job, I recommend sharing the reason that positions your new job as the missing piece. That can be as simple as, while I learned a great deal about people management in my last position and I truly enjoyed the company's collaborative work environment, I was lacking opportunities to grow my leadership, which is something that is critical to my career goals. That's why I'm so excited to be interviewing for a company that actively cultivates opportunities for leadership among high-performing employees. Let's move on to situation number 2. You were let go for reasons outside your control. Being laid off is an incredibly challenging position to be in, and it typically has nothing to do with individual employee performance. Thankfully, most interviewers understand that getting laid off tends to be the result of company restructuring, economic downturns, or other forces that are completely out of your control. If you were laid off, the same general formula applies, with a couple of slight tweaks. Express gratitude for the opportunity you had, but instead of sharing your learnings, emphasize your contribution to the company. Then, directly but briefly, share what prompted the layoff. Finally, conclude by explaining what brings you to this job in particular. That way, it's clear the layoff wasn't the result of poor performance and that you are viewing this unexpected change as a chance to thoughtfully develop your career. For example, I was incredibly passionate about my former job, which my performance feedback and XYZ achievements speak of. However, the company was purchased by a larger competitor, and many roles, including my job, were redundant. While I didn't expect to conclude working with my former employer at that time, I will say that this job search feels like a great chance to work for an early stage company like this one, which is something I've always aspired to do. Situation number 3. You were fired. Being terminated from a job is a stressful situation. Yet, many career coaches will tell you that being let go from a job can be an opportunity in disguise. Here is a chance to explore new roles and organizations that may offer a better match with your interests and values. So, what's the best way to deliver this information about your termination? Since employers can see and contact who you have worked with before, hiding this information isn't in your best interest. So, let's go back to the baseline formula. Remember, you want to explain what happened, show professionalism, and speak about your commitment to the role that you are interviewing for. In the case of being fired, we need to emphasize why you would perform very well in the new job. I'd also recommend starting with the hard stuff first, so you end on a positive note. So here's an example. Though I cared very much about meeting company needs in my last role, I didn't hit my sales quota several quarters in a row, which led my former employer to let me go. I tried to increase my performance by undergoing additional training, but upon reflection, I realized my skills better position me for an account management role that focuses on client relationships rather than hitting a sales target. That is why I'm so excited to be interviewing for an account management position that will allow me to leverage my strong interpersonal and organizational strengths skills. With this approach, you show professionalism, own your history, demonstrate self-awareness, and explain why you are well positioned for your new role. No matter the situation, take ownership over what happened is key. I'll also add that your body language is critical in this circumstance. Rather than dropping your gaze or otherwise physically demonstrating your discomfort, keep direct eye contact and open body language. This shows that you are collected, forthright, and at ease. If you're comfortable, you're assuring your interviewer that they can be too. Finally, here's an important bonus tip. In all cases, keep your answer brief and emphasize the opportunity at hand. Avoid telling a complex story or offering too much information that could obscure the main point, which is why you and the job you're interviewing for are a great match. Try and keep your response to less than a minute. Now let's do a quick recap of what we have covered so far. When someone asks, why did you leave your last job? They are wanting to understand the context, your professionalism, and your future commitment level. Regardless of why you left your last job, structure your response by keeping those 3 things in mind. If you voluntarily left your previous employer, show gratitude, explain why you left, and what draws you to the new opportunity. If you were laid off, tweak the formula by emphasizing your contribution and speak directly about what happened. End on a positive note by explaining why you find this particular opportunity compelling. If you were fired, remain professional, explain why you were let go, how you have adapted or what you have learned, and why you will perform well in this new role. Keep your body language confident and open so that interviewer senses that you are at ease. Remember, people leave jobs for lots of reasons. This is natural. Your interviewer has been in your shoes and knows it's hard to always frame a past experience positively, but your ability to do so will set you miles apart from other candidates. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And for more career coaching tips, I recommend checking out our playlist. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.